never played basketball. They've never played before. You have to teach them the how. You have to be able to teach them how to do things, how to do a layup, how to dribble a ball, how to put their elbow through the ball, right?
How can somebody improve that? So you exactly said, like, first you go and do that, let's say, form. You understand how to perform everything. Then you add repetitions with speed. And lastly, there's either defense or contact. Because if you only do that, maybe there is time. I mean, this is another question for you. Maybe there is time for endless shooting and endless type of dribbling exercises, but how much that will carry to the game?
The height of their ignorance and the height of their stupidity. And if you don't teach them, if you don't help them through that, they're just going to do what they see. And unfortunately, what they see is not that good.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Basketball, Body and Mind. Today I'm joined by Mihai Raducanu, police detective in street crime, not anymore. Right now he is a skill development specialist and currently basketball coach at Ontario, Canada. We met a few years ago or maybe several years ago in Lithuania, and since then we have worked and even lived together for some weeks. Mihai has been coaching at every possible level: youth, national youth teams members, all the way to EuroLeague, NBA, WNBA. And on top of that, not only coaching, but he has opened basketball education companies on 4 different continents. However, in my opinion, what makes him special is the holistic approach to players' development. Mihai brings his experience, intensity to every training session, motivation, and of course, care for young players. That is always, that parents always notice that. He is well known not only for technical development that he's really good at, but also for a deep focus on mental side and leadership of the game. Brother, welcome to the show.
Staska, you always make me sound so good, man. Thanks for having me. And I know that I begged you to have me on the show, so thanks for having me.
That was funny story. You were one of the first ones that I not invited, but I mentioned you that this is going to be happening. I'm not allowed to tell what, but you were first in my mind, but it took me some time to kind of make it happen.
I'm just kidding, man. It's such a pleasure to be on here. I've seen you grow, and it's been a lot of years that we've known each other. And I've seen you in action. I've seen you in your youth. I've seen you when you just started going, and it's been a pleasure to get to know you over all these years. And we've become such good friends and business partners at times. And this is great. I'm so proud of you and the show you're doing. And thank you for having me on.
Hey, thank you. For some time, I thought that you were going to interview me because you really nicely introduced me right now. But look, first of all, I would like to touch kind of 2 topics today with you. 2 big topics.
Yeah.
First, skill development in general, and then long-term athletes development plan for those youth for youth players all the way to professional players. So does that sound good for you?
100%.
Perfect. Look, let's start with skill development. What are the key areas, in your opinion, that players are missing today in development of basketball?
It's hard to tell exactly what they're missing, but I know that they're not focusing on the pure fundamentals of the game, right? And the fundamentals are ball handling, dribbling, driving, passing, catching, shooting, finishing, rebounding. Mm-hmm. And that's 7 I just mentioned, right? And maybe 8 if you combine the driving, dribbling. But if you don't combine the driving, dribbling, you see players coming up, and I coach at the college level in Canada, like you said, women's basketball coach, but you don't see them come in with all 7. You see them showing up with 2 or 3, and it's mainly dribbling, not even ball handling. It's like dribbling for no reason, and shooting. The rest of the things, it's poor. Passing, very poor. You know, rebounding concepts, very poor. You don't see kids have this developed at a high level. Playing together, using their IQ, understanding when to cut, understanding timing, understanding how to move with the ball, off the bounce, off the catch, off the cut, off the screen, right, off the finish, off a closeout when somebody closes out. These concepts are missing. They're lost. Not many people teach them. So when the youth show up at the next level, they have 20 to 30% of these things developed, and that's hurting coaches at the next level.
So why do you think they are underdeveloped in these areas? Do they maybe they come overdeveloped in some, I don't know, other areas that you have noticed?
No, not necessarily, because everything gets lost in a team concept, right? And I blame the AAU in the US. The AAU system has totally ruined the game of basketball when it comes to team concepts. It's ruined the game of basketball when it comes to understanding how to play with each other. I blame the highlight reel, right? I blame the this is me and this is what I can do. Um, as a championship coach, and I think we talked about this, and I think you know, right? I just finished my third season coaching the Mohawk women's basketball team, and the first season I was doing the athletic director a favor by coaching the team, and it was pretty disastrous, to be honest with you. We went 5-16, and then I did Mihai stuff, skill development, the whole holistic development, the getting people on the same page, loving each other. And we can talk about that later.
Yes.
But you know, we after my third season, we won the first championship in 34 years for my school. Why? Because we developed those things. And Staska, the team concepts are lost. People are not teaching the team concepts because they're not shiny objects. It
Hmm.
doesn't look good on the highlight reel. It doesn't look good on the Instagram. Somebody somewhere down the line told these kids that you got to shoot the ball and you got to beat people one on one and you got to have flashy handles. And then there's skill trainers in the world, and the skill trainers in the world, unfortunately, 90% of them have no idea what they're doing. They just teach circus drills, right? They teach basketball, ball handling, mats, and all kinds of stupid shit. And it's not developing the players. It's stagnating their development. And like Gannon Baker says, kids at young ages are at the height of their ignorance and the height of their stupidity. And if you don't teach them, if you don't help them through that, they're just going to do what they see. And unfortunately, what they see is not that good.
So then, what did you do? What kind of buckets you were filling when you were working from year one to year two, year three until you won? So, what are those team concepts that you were teaching? So, also from what you explained. So, don't we need to do? Do we don't need to do any like ball handling? You would say
Oh no,
this?
we no, no, it's part of it. It's part of it. And you do it, and it all depends where are you? Where's your ball handling skills as a team? Where's your ball handling skills as an individual? So okay, so the team concepts, right? So it's ball movement, right? Player movement, screening, driving kick, spacing, respacing. I mean, that's the offensive team concepts. And it's hard to get players that are coming in. This year I have two freshmen coming in, and they've been practicing with us. One of them is almost there, understands but doesn't really know, but understands, but doesn't really know how to put it out there. The other one, totally lost, has no idea about player movement, ball movement, spacing, respacing, screening. They just don't understand the concept because they're not being taught. So I have to teach it. I have to teach it. What I did is that make sure we're on the same page, make sure everybody's on the same page, make sure we understand what we're doing, right? Explain spacing, explain respacing, maintain 15 to 18 feet apart, right? Ensure that your defender can't guard both of you. Just understand where you are. And then once we're on the same page, then you go terminology. And we went terminology, make sure that what we say is the same wording. cut, rise, dive, go through, right? Come set a screen, right? DHO, whatever that is. So terminology, the dictionary, verbal and signal is the same. And then once everybody's on the same page, now you can start building. Now you can start developing. But that's just one thing. That's the physical piece. Then you got to get into the mental piece.
That's even more
Then you,
difficult.
right?
Yes.
Then you got to get into the emotional piece. Then you got to get into the relational piece. Like, hey, Staska, I love you, man, but I got to be able to tell you the truth. I got to be able to have a relationship with you. And if you're not receiving me, right, then I have to be able to find a way for you to receive me. And I have to be able to allow you in also. And then the last piece, which me and you always talk about, is the spiritual piece, right? It's where are you? It doesn't mean religion, it just means spirituality, right? And that's the holistic development. And you got to be able to take those five things and tell the kids that we're gonna experience change, we're gonna experience failures, we're gonna experience disappointments, we're gonna have problems, and we're gonna be scared of shit. But you can handle these things if you develop yourself in the physical, mental, emotional, relational, spiritual. So the 5 and 5 help each other grow. And then they believe. Then when they see the results and they believe in each other, and that was the main thing. And then we had a mantra, and the mantra keeps it all together because everything you do, every practice, every move, every time you feel down, every time you feel up, every time you're struggling as a team or individual, you go back to your mantra. And our mantra was simple last year:
What was the mantra?
love, love, love each other every day. Just love. 2, positivity. Always be positive with each other. It's easy to be negative. It's hard to be positive. 3, analyze. Don't criticize. And
Great one.
fourth was win a championship. Simple. And there's so many coaches laughed at me and asked me after we won, and coaches said, "You put winning right in your mantra?" I'm like, yeah, because if you don't, what's the point of doing it? If you don't, what's the point of working? If you don't, how can you hold each other accountable? Because there's a difference between winning attitude, winning behavior, winning, communication, winning effort, right? And just let's have fun. And that's another problem. If we go back to the beginning, why aren't people developed? Well, because, nobody teaches them to win. And when you win together.
There are so many things that I could take from what you said and kind of turn this conversation to any direction. And I don't even know which would be the right direction to pick. But one thing that came to my mind was when you were saying that coaches were laughing. So maybe also coaches are laughing. Maybe sometimes you're doing something and your friends, let's say, are laughing. But first, as they say, there are 3 stages of new things. First, they laugh at you. Then they fight you, and third, they join you. So probably those when you won, coaches, actually, maybe I should maybe take something from what Mihai is doing because he won. Maybe he's doing right things.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope the egos don't get in the way. But, ego is an enemy. And a lot of people just allow that enemy to sit at the table with them.
Yes, yes. But then if we would take all of these things that you mentioned, the team concept, individual concept, are there, okay, you probably would need to, not you specifically, but you in general would need to work on those always. It's not that you reach some kind of level and then it's done. You don't have to work on it anymore. You have to keep on going.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about defense. And defense, and yeah, you're 100% correct. You have to sharpen them up. So I call it trim the fat, right? Every day you got to trim the fat a little bit more. And then the girls said, wow, can we just call it narrowing the gap? So it's like, yeah, cool. Let's call it narrowing the gap. And that's what you do every day, just every game, every practice, you just narrow the gap. And that was on our board. Before every practice we talked about it, before every game we talked about it. Let's narrow the gap today. We need work on this. Maybe it was box outs. Maybe it was spacing. Maybe it was screening. Maybe it was talking better to each other. Maybe it was effort. But every day and every game, we had an effort and we narrowed the gap. And narrowing the gap was always leading to our mantra. And the fourth thing in our mantra was win a championship. So let's narrow the gap. Let's keep narrowing the gap. And every day, Staska, you're right. We lead with defense because I love defense. I love playing physical. I love being out there. So you have to sprint the floor. If you want to play for us, you got to sprint the floor. You got to be in your stance. You got to understand how to guard the ball. You got to understand ball pressure. You got to understand how to slide, footwork, run, sprint, right? Close out, taking a hit, right? Contesting a shot, boxing out, rebound. Like that's taking a charge. Like you have to teach those things. Is there a loose ball? What are you doing? Well, we're diving, we're fighting and get in their shorts. I always say, just get in their shorts. Just, I know it's not the right term to use, but I use it. It's bully them, like bully them
Yes.
physically. So you get them off that line, so they don't go where they like to go. They don't go where they want to be, and that's how we start. Defense for us is key.
Yes, you said bully them and let them know. So this morning I was reading the Kobe Bryant's book, and he said that if on defense somebody called him soft or something, I don't remember exactly what he wrote in that, but the idea behind was if somebody called me on offense that I was on defense. No, on offense that I was soft. So then he would go on defense and he would make a foul to them, like intentional foul. He said, I want to send them a message, like, don't mess with me.
That's it.
So
That's
I'm
it.
not saying
So
like to make this, but greats do
no,
that.
that's it. And you have to be there. You have to be felt. And soft is one of the S's I don't allow on a team. I think me and you talked about this before, right? The four S's. And the girls challenged me this year to come up because I said these are the four S's we don't want. And then they said, cool, can we come up with four S's that we want? That are the opposite, right? So we don't want soft players. So then they said, well, let's be strong.
Nice.
Then I said we don't want silence players. So then they said, let's speak up, right? Which was cool. We don't want selfish players. So then they said, well, let's be selfless.
Yes.
And we don't want stupid players. So they said, let's be smart.
Smart.
So it's like the four S's we don't want
That's
and the four
that's good.
S's we want. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
There are so many things that they need to develop. Can a young player, I don't know, watch something, or how can they develop these things? Because if they don't have a coach like you who is watching or seeing basketball very holistically, maybe they just are concerned about X's and O's and that is all without thinking what that X or what that O consists of. Just X's and O's and that's it. How can one like study? Are there books to read, videos to watch, analyze their game? How could they work on that, in your
Yeah,
opinion?
well, first find a new coach because if that's your coach, then they're doing it for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot out there. There's also a lot of garbage. So I'm always going to go to people that I learned from. I'm always going to go back to people that were my mentors and continue to mentor me. And Gannon Baker is one of my biggest mentors when it comes to basketball development. Go and check him out. Go and check out his online curriculums and check out his knowledge and wisdom because there's PDFs and there's videos from coaches, high level coaches, Hall of Fame coaches that give advice on his platform. Go and check out his skill development because his skill development is like this. It teaches you to move off the ball, player movement, ball movement, right? Like it teaches all this. And then outside of that, books. I mean, you and I know how the books go. We love books. Right now, I'm reading a cool book actually called The Legends Club. And The
Okay.
Legends Club is about Dean Smith, Mike Krzyzewski, and Jimmy Valvano. And it's, back in the late 70s, early 80s when that whole shift happened, when Krzyzewski and Jimmy Valvano came to North Carolina and Dean Smith was the man and in that area, and then the whole battle. And it explains in there how Krzyzewski built the program and how he was able to surpass eventually Dean Smith, who was, the guy in North Carolina. And read books, I read books. There are basketball books, and I have a bookcase full upstairs, and I can send you all the titles if you want. But I mean, nowadays, Staska, there's the simplest form of AI that anybody can use is ChatGPT. Go and ask the real questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's John Wooden say? What's Dean Smith say? What's Don Staley just wrote a book? Go read that. AJ Wilson wrote a book. Go read that. Study Diana Taurasi. Study the greats. Study the Phil Jacksons. Man, we could talk forever about knowledge.
Yes.
There's so much knowledge. But here's what I'm going to say to you. We're given this information, but whoever's watching this, are you actually a high performance athlete or are you a recreational athlete? Because when you're a recreational athlete, you don't really need information, you don't seek information, and you don't actually feel that you need to be better when you go and play. Doesn't matter what sport it is. If you're recreational, your physical ability and you love to get a sweat and be out there and practice moves that you see on the internet or in the NBA, it's totally okay. But if you're a high performance athlete, your sleep has to change, your nutrition has to change, your daily habits have to change, the people you surround yourself with has to change, the way you approach life has to change. Everything changes. You enter a new dimension. And usually, people that are high performance, they don't need us to tell them to seek information. They go and seek information. They find people. So, what percentage of people playing sport are actually high performance?
Yeah,
And
this
you
is.
and I know it's a low percentage. Sorry to
No,
interrupt
no,
you.
no, no. I cut you off, and when you were saying this, I'm thinking, okay, that professional would be, let's say, type A player. Then we have type B, who is either can transform to a professional, or to type C, which is recreational athlete. So maybe those who are listening, maybe hopefully you are type B. So if you will start seeking that information, you want to improve a little bit, you will slowly move up to the type A. But if you just keep going with this, like, oh, my coach doesn't teach me this, I wish I had gym access, or I don't know what to do for my skill training. Like, no, as you said, there's so much of information. You can even just ask that exact question in ChatGPT, or go on Instagram, and instead of watching dog skateboarding, go to the Instagram and watch something what is useful.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's on you. At the end of the day, in 2025, with so much information in this world, it's on you. It's our job to guide you. It's our
Mm-hmm.
job to set the frame. It's our job to make sure that when you come to us and you ask for help, we'll give you everything at the highest possible level and we help you. But it's not our job to motivate you. It's not our job to make you love the game. It's not our job to make you want to do this day in and day out because nothing happens overnight. And it's a tough world out there, and it's going to continue to get tougher. So, are you a problem spotter? That you just complain, my coach is not good, I don't have time, my parents won't drive me, I don't have a gym space, it's cold outside, I live in Siberia, whatever the fuck you say, right? But like at the end of the day, do you really want to do the thing that you are doing? And we're talking basketball, so do you really want to be a basketball player? And then why do you want to be a basketball player? And then how are you going to become a basketball player? And then guess what? It doesn't change when you step on the court. How do you do something? Why do you do something? And when do you do something? Because if I teach you to do a pull-up jumper, that's not good enough. If I teach you to put the ball between the legs and change direction, that's not good enough. That's just the how.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to teach you the why.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why do you do this?
But can you teach why?
100%. Yeah, through the skill set. Yeah. Why do you do a pull up? I can tell you, instantly why you do a pull up jumper,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you should know why you do a pull up jumper. And then I got to teach you the when. When do you do a pull-up jumper, right? And when the player knows that, now they can use the skill set. And you see it on Instagram. Oh, Staska's in his bag. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. You're in your bag. I hope that you know how to use everything that's in your bag. I hope that you know when to use it and why you use it.
Yes, and even we could go into why, not only why to drive in this case or why to take a pull-up, but we could ask, as you said, why to play basketball, why to even train, why do you bother?
Hmm.
Because if you have, like as people are saying, if you have real and important for you why, there is no anyhow can be overcome. So you can come,
Correct.
you overcome anything. So why even in the deeper level? But then if we want to improve this, let's say whatever we choose, any kind of area, do we need to go with lots of repetitions? But based on what you said, it maybe we need to have a game speed, or maybe first we need to theoretical knowledge to understand the concepts, and then slowly introduce and then make to games, game-like situations. Like, do we need, like, do you understand my question?
Yeah. So it's in that book. I don't know how far you are in the Kobe book, but in the
Just
Kobe
started.
book, okay, so there'll be a part where it comes up where he talks about his training and he talks about form, right? Form's huge. Like you got to be able to, whatever you're learning to shoot, right? It's just form. It's just form. You're learning a crossover. It's form, right? Then there's speed. Then you got to go faster. Then you got to be able to go game speed. And then there's contact. So form's one thing. Speed with nobody guarding you is another thing. But then doing it so good, so fast, while there's contact, well, now you're becoming a player. So that's the Kobe formula. So yeah, that's the steps of teaching it. And then I forget what else you asked me. Sorry.
No, so this is what I asked. Like, how can
Yeah,
somebody improve that? So you exactly said, like, first you go and do that. Let's say form. You understand how to perform everything. Then you
yeah,
add repetitions with speed, and lastly, there's either defense or contact. Because if you only do that, maybe there is time. I mean, this is another question for you. Maybe there is time for endless shooting and endless type of dribbling exercises, but how much that will carry to the game?
yeah. I mean, so last summer, a year ago, I gave every one of my players individual workouts for the summer. Staska, this is what you have to work on. I had one player that I didn't want her to shoot any threes. So she didn't work on threes all summer. All that she worked on was mid-rangers. I said, you got to be a mid-range specialist. You can't shoot threes. Let's not worry about changing your shot. You're too little. You're not going to need to shoot threes. We have people that can do that. So you don't need to practice them. You also panic when you pass. You're not a good passer. So for 4 months, all that she did was mid-rangers and different kinds of passes. That was her mission. That's how she got better. And then she was an impact player because she was a piece that we needed. This summer, same thing. Every player's got their thing, right? And some players, they're at the bottom. They're trying to rise up. They're trying to be top five, top six, top eight, right? They think that, not on my team, but they think that
Yes.
they got to score. They think that they got to put the ball in the basket. But really, I already have the people that can put the ball in the basket. I already know who can put the ball in the basket. If you want to get on the floor, Staska, you got to play defense. You got to be in really good shape. You got to be able to take contact, right? And you got to be able to understand what we're doing out there. And when the ball comes to you, it's like it's on loan. It's on loan to you. You don't have much time. You better get it and put it in the next spot, and you better know what the next spot is. And if you always make the right pass, if you are always in the right spot, if you're playing defense, if you're stopping your man, if you're boxing out, you're going to be able to carve yourself space out to be on the floor. But if you can't do that and your skill set's not up here, you're never playing. You'll never play, right?
Yes, yes. in this case, I really understand in this situation. Let me be a little bit of devil advocate. So,
Please.
if you did not train that girl, if she did not train shooting, finishing was not what a coach needs from her, and she gets really good at something, but then she moves or transfer to another university, and coach wants her to shoot because coach has different approach. She will be behind, or she will be struggling because one coach has one. So shouldn't we work on that also?
Depends where you're at. Depends what level you're at. If you're in high school, yes, you got to work on all of it. She's in her fourth year of college last
Mm-hmm.
year. That was her job. That's what she had to do. There's no, my time as a coach spent with me helping her become a consistent 3-point shooter would be time wasted for her and time wasted for me because we have better shooters. You don't get that many shots. So why work for 4 months on something that
Yes.
you're not going to get to do in a game? But the other things you'll get to do, we need it, and it puts you on the floor. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
This is, I hope people listen this very, very carefully because, as you said, maybe you will not be the best three pointers, and still I see bigs. I know that maybe the big will shoot like maybe five in a season, 5 times, and still in the training session, still shoot three pointers. Like, why do you do that? Why you work on something else that, why you don't work on something else that will let you to have more minutes in the game, because that's the goal, not to shoot the three pointers, have more minutes in the game, perform better, earn more, whatever, be more satisfied. Yes.
That's it. That's it. And you know, last year was the first season for me. Nobody asked me, how can I get more playing time? It was clear. It was always clear. There was no, I've never been asked, hey, coach, how come I'm not playing more? It was always clear. Every day was clear who's playing well, why they're playing, and why they're out
Why?
there.
Why is clear?
Because the way I run the practices, because of the way I give feedback. We film every practice. I give feedback on everything. I keep it real. I keep it honest. My girls trust me 100%. I trust them. So I tell them the truth every single day. There's no hiding it. I don't hide anything from them. I tell them the full truth. And in turn, they tell me the full truth. And they know that they know that what they get from me is the reality of it. Right. And it's never confusing. It's never a confusion, right? Because what I need for listen, man, my uh, first team All Star, 2 years in a row, right? Leading scorer, all time leading shot blocker in our college history. In the first half of the season, probably 4 games in, I benched her the whole second half and most of the first half. Never played her. She pissed me off. She wasn't executing. She wasn't doing the things that I asked her to do. So I benched her. And I said, if you continue to think that you know what you're doing out there, if you continue to think that your offense is what we need from you, you're going to continue to sit. I need you to be full player. I need you to stop your man. I need you to run the floor. I need you to make good decisions with the ball. Until you do that, you're going to continue to sit your ass down.
Yeah.
And guess what? She had a crazy season. She had a crazy season after that. And that's all it took, right, for her to realize. But Staska, there's a lot of people in these kids' ears, man. There's parents that never played. There's friends that they live with that never played. There's athletes that play other sports. And they're like, well, Staska's got game. Why don't you play? Your coach sucks. He should play you. You should shoot the ball more. You should drive the ball
Mm-hmm.
more. You should do this. Everybody's in their ear. And unfortunately, they're very impressionable. They're very impressionable at this age, especially young females. So you have to get their attention and get them to focus on the singular goal. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about us. It's about what it says on this chest, right?
Yes.
And for us, it says Mohawk College. And that's who we play for. And when that happens, when that comes together, then people won't care. People won't care if they're scoring 2 points, if they have 20 rebounds, or if they have 0, 0, 0, 0 stat line, but they're playing 40 minutes. My best player does not have the best stats. She got the excellence in leadership on the court as a female basketball player, top in the country. Our conference is called the CCAA, Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association. When we went to the national tournament, where the top 8 teams go, she got this award in the country, excellence in leadership on the court as an athlete. And her stat lines are not what you would think. But she played every single game last year between 38 and 40 minutes for me.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's the stuff that we have to continue to impart onto these young players. Skills are super important. Knowledge of the game is super important. Strength and conditioning, your body, your movements, your ability to take hits, your ability to hit, your ability to fall and get back up, cheering on the bench, tapping, high fives, butt slaps, whatever it is. It's very, very important to be able to play at levels where, it's very enjoyable.
Yeah. It's maybe not easy. It's much more simple for kids, for basketball players to play when they know what they need to do, because you said you're not hiding anything. Sometimes
Never.
still, yes, but sometimes here coaches still they have I don't know, let's call it preferences, or maybe someone made them that player particular has to play a little bit more, even though he or she makes some turnovers. No, you stand the court, you are our best player, and then the other ones who might succeed later, his or she's not playing. And the issue is that coach wants to be a friend with a good player,
Mm-hmm.
because what if the player makes it? What if that player will be professional? Oh, then I can, it's ego, then I can say on my CV, on my Instagram, on whatever, on my social media, I can say, look what I made. This is my coach, this is my athlete. But actually, what the athlete needs in order to be even better, exactly what you did. Bench.
Yeah.
You're not doing, you're being an ass. Like, don't kind of play defense, as you said, like rebound, box out. Nobody cares whether you can score. You can be much more better. So this is what I was thinking when you were telling, because we do have some, let's say, potential future stars at a young age, and coach wants to be friends with them, and they don't coach them the right way. They coach them to kind of be friends. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And listen, there's a couple of things that I want to touch on. Is number one, you can be their friend, you can be their mentor, you can be their father figure, but your best friends, you talk about your
Yes.
best friends, you think
Yes.
about your best friends. They don't agree with everything you do. They hold you accountable. And you hold them accountable. And it's a two-way thing. That at least that's how my best friends are. You're a good friend of mine. We lived together for some time, in Europe and doing camps. And we've done a lot of things together. And I can hold you accountable, and I know that there's never any negative feeling coming back, and vice versa. You hold me accountable, and there's never like, yeah, I trust Tasca. So it's a level of trust, right? And you have to be able to trust each other. I have the practice plans ready every day before practice, and the girls get to see it. It's not a secret. And sometimes my captains come to me and they're like, "Hey, we're tired today. Can we change this?" And then I'll think it through, and I'm like, "This makes sense. Thanks for bringing it to my attention." Sometimes in a game, I'll say, "Okay, let's go full court pressure. Let's get on them." And they'll look at me and they'll say, "Not right now." You know what I mean? Not right now. Sometimes I'll say, "Okay, let's take the pressure off." And they'll be like, "No, no, keep it on. We're good to go. Let's keep on going." I work with my players. It's decisions that we make together. It's very stupid of me to not listen to the people that are feeling it. It's very stupid for me to not listen to the people that are in the battle. It's very stupid for me to not have a two-way street with my players, and because we have a two-way street, our trust is out of control. Our love is out of control, and we get it done, and we get it done because of those reasons. I don't have an ego, and you know
That's
me,
what I wanted to
and,
say. That's what I wanted to
you know.
say. If you had ego, like, no, I'm the coach, it has to be, this way. So then, like, coach can see but cannot feel, players can feel but cannot see. If you combine both, championship in 3 years.
And don't forget, high quality assistants. I mean, I had
Mm-hmm.
3 assistants this year, and they each have a role, and they've been with me from day one. One of them actually played for me my first year, then coached with me the last 2 years, and now she went back to play, which is awesome. But but my assistants have their roles, and my assistants hold me accountable. My assistants grab me, and my assistants tell me like, "Hey, settle down," or rev up, or "Hey, we should do this," and we have systems. I can't do anything without my assistants. Now, my superpower is processing information at a very high pace, getting it from all places, and then just putting it, delivering it at a high level so everybody understands it. That's my superpower. So my assistants know that. So in practice, halftime, during the games, they just spit things to me, right? Especially at halftime. We have 10 minutes. What do we have, right? 15 minutes. And they say, "Ooh, this. There's a stat person. Boom, 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 stats, this. Second one is effort, attitude, plays, execution. And they just spit to me. And then they say, this is what we should do. So then I have 2.5, 3 minutes in the locker room, and I don't write any of this down, and I deliver it. People are like, wow, but like, it's not wow. I have great assistants, right? Sometimes in a game, I'd be fired up, and my captain, the girl I told you about, her name's Maddie, by the way. Maddie grabs me, and she'll say, Mihai, analyze, don't criticize, right? She'll
Yes.
remind me, like, that's team, man. That's a team. That's how you work together, right? And that's why I think that we are successful. It's we work together. It's everything, and it's the holistic approach.
Mm-hmm.
It's the holistic approach to relationships. It's the holistic approach to development. It's the holistic approach to leadership, right? And you can't fake the funk, man. If you don't know your stuff, then people are gonna smell it,
Yes.
right? The players are gonna smell it. The players are gonna know that you're full of shit.
Yes.
So if you don't know, hey, listen, I
Yes.
had no idea, but let's figure it out together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
You know,
So, like, I believe everyone understood the holistic approach even like 10 minutes in the episode. But by this time, they really can see that it's not only X's and O's, and it's like, of course, it's very important to know which angle to set a screen, how to respace it. All of these things are very important, but there are so many more things, much more things that we are not that you cannot kind of measure in a simple way of putting the heart rate or counting the points, whatever. But you cannot measure those things. But they are very, very important that lead to success. So this is, I believe, things that people understand. But let's go a little bit to X's and O's, to the long-term athlete development, because you have worked at different ages, from the youth and the CAMs. For many years, you have been working and impacting young, middle school, high school, college level athletes. So if we could kind of talk about let's talk three different age groups. So one would be middle school, high school, and college level. And think about some basketball players. Just your opinion. What we need to focus on at those, because you mentioned many different aspects that we need to work on. But what are those three different age groups we need to kind of spend most time with or at in
well, I
trainings?
think, yeah, I'm going to challenge coaches that are watching this, and players to understand that our job as coaches, our number one job is to teach players how to win in basketball and teach them how to win in life.
At any
That's
age?
any age. Any age, we got to teach them how to win in basketball. and how to win in life. And then you break it down, right? And then you break it down. In that first group, the young age group, it's all about the fundamentals. It's all about the understanding the how and a little bit of the why, right? And then as they get older, the when. But when they're super, super young, if it's zero played basketball, they've never played before, you have to teach them the how. You have to be able to teach them how to do things, how to do a layup, how to dribble a ball, how to put their elbow through the ball, right? Just like you do with weightlifting, right? Like think about the first time you teach somebody how to do a deadlift. What are you using? You're using a broomstick. You're
Yes.
using a pipe, right? Like it's the same thing, and you have to be able to do that. Once they can do those things, now you can teach them why they do them and when they do them,
So wait,
and then
sorry, I will cut you. But would you teach that first theoretically, like teaching what is the pull up, or you would go like straight in the?
it's yeah, teach it, speak it, so
Mhm.
show it, right? Speak it, show it, and then drill it. Speak it, show it, drill it. Speak it, show it, drill it. How you drill it, it depends on the cognitive power of the people you have in the gym, right? But somebody might be able to process things real fast and they see you once and they do it. Somebody might need you to touch them and put them in a place and then they do it. So you have to teach it, right? In there, in the gym, physically. I believe that the physical piece is very important in the fundamental years. You know, it's very, very important. Um, could you do it online? I think you have to be a special person. I think you have to have a special guide beside you, or your brain has to be firing on some cylinders that are unheard of if you've never played hoops. Now, if you're 40 years old and you've never played basketball and you want to learn, 100% buy an online program, you can do it. But if your mind is young and your body's young, you need hands-on. You need to be in the gym physically with somebody. Was that your question?
Yes. So this would be a question. So then that middle school, let's say players, they would be taught those fundamentals. You're not narrowing as you asked for that player. You said, okay, I want you to work just on passing, and I want you to work just on mid-range shots. So, but for those young group, you would go broad. You would about all the areas. You would not focus on one.
No, 100%, right? Fundamentals, then you go into moves and counters, right? And then you go into team concepts. That's the growth. And the fundamentals is all the things I said at the beginning: ball handling, dribbling, driving, right? So ball handling is understanding how to maneuver the ball, understanding how to put it through, how to cross, how to catch, how to get your hands right. That's the ball handling piece, right? Catch it from here, bring it here. Catch it from here, bring it here. That's ball handling stuff, right? And then you go into dribbling. Well, when do you dribble in the game of basketball? Where's your knowledge, Staska? Tell me, when do you dribble?
Oh, when you're driving to the basket?
Bingo, right? Right? But like, what do you actually see out there all the time?
Yes.
People dribbling with no purpose. They're dribbling left, right instead of straight lines, right? So there's only two times you dribble in the game of basketball: go to the basket, or when you're in trouble and you want to escape trouble. That's it. But people dribble all the time. So right. So then ball handling. Then you got to teach them how to move with the ball. Well, when you move with the ball, where are you going? You're going to the hoop. That's called driving, right? Well, when you get to the hoop, what are you going to do? Well, you're either going to finish it,
Or
so
kick
you got to
it.
teach them finishing. You're either going to pass it somewhere, right? So you got to teach them how to pass, right? It's very simple. Or maybe you pull up and shoot. So then you got to learn how to shoot a bunch of different ways. If you're dribbling and driving, that's a pull up, right? If you're just catching, that's a catch and shoot, right? So you got to be able to make them understand all of these things and how they all fall into the realm of basketball, right? And then you have to play defense. You have to be able to move your body, and you know, to me, defense, there's fundamentals I can teach, but at the end of the day, if their bodies are not moving the way they move, that's when they come to you. And I point to you because you're on that side of my screen, right? But they come to you. And think about us doing camps. Think about us working with high-level pros. Think about me and you working with the fundamental, like young kids. How many conversations we've always had. Staska, what are you doing today? Listen, these kids are not good at their hip movement. These kids can't get low. Their foot speed is slow. I don't do that. That's not my expertise. That's not I can't teach that in a gym of basketball, but you can. So that's when they need you, right?
Yes.
And that's the fundamentals. Okay? So they have that package, or they learned enough in that package in that middle age group that you talked about. That's where you focus. That's probably 85 to 90% of your focus. And then you put them to, well, they can't run. Okay, Staska, A skips, all those,
Yes,
right? They teach
exactly.
them, you know? They're schlangas, right? Like, you gotta, right? Like, so then once they have that, then let's move on to moves and counters,
So that
right?
would
So
be high
now
school. What would you change in high school?
I don't think it's by age. In reality, I've never
Okay.
I've never really broken it down by age. I've always broken it down by progress.
Okay.
Like, are you progressing? If your fundamentals are at 80 to 85%, you understand it, then you got to understand the next stage, right? And some
Yes.
people are early advancers, like, right? We've seen players and we've been around players that are late developers. We've been around players that are early developers, and we can talk about 13-year-olds that can understand basketball at the highest level. We can talk about 13-year-olds that, you know, they don't know what's going on, right?
Yes, 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 for sure.
And we can name a bunch of names that me and you work with together, and you'll know the right. You'll know, like Taras, like Taras, he was here when he was 13, right? And then when he went to Baskonia, they just developed him into who he is today, a top player in EuroLeague, right? But yeah, that's that. And then so that's stage one, stage two, and then stage three. They got to understand the team concepts, right? Like, what are the different team concepts? What do you have to master on offense? What do you have to master on defense? What are the principles that you need to understand so that any system you play for Jaguars, you play for the Nuggets, you play for Mohawk College, you have to be able to have all these things so that I can do my job as a head coach and have you play in our system, so to speak, the way we like to play. I don't really like the word system. It's just the way we like to play. I'm an aggressive guy. I'm a high energy guy. So our teams are going to play that way because otherwise I can't think differently, right? Like, that's my imprint on the team. You know?
Yeah. Yes, I hope, again, I hope that everyone is listening and either taking notes, understanding what you are saying. Because what you are saying, I don't have expertise in basketball, but what you are saying might be different what they are seeing on social media. As you talked previously, there are many people who will be indirectly talking, who they will be seeing on Instagram, and somebody is 15 years old and say, oh, you have to work on this type of Instagram flashy hand dribbling kind of sequence, and you work on
Yeah.
that, or you see the Kyrie doing something and you, oh, I want to work on that. It's fine if you have the, as you said, like if you are developed with those all the basics, or maybe if you spend on that Kyrie dribbling like 5% of the time, but you actually work on those things that you need to work. So this is what I see kind of can be a little bit conflicting, what they see and what you are saying, because as you said, nobody wants to see how you catch the ball.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. It's not a shiny object. And then imitation is always the greatest form of flattery, which we know, right? And it's cool. It's cool that you want to imitate somebody, but let's go back to the beginning. Where are you physically? Do you even have the physical capabilities to move and play like Kyrie? So then, what are you actually doing, right? Are you able to move your body in a certain way to look like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, LeBron James? You can't. Most people can't. Most people don't have that, right? Are you thinking of what setting those guys are playing in, what type of defense they're playing against? And I think there's got to be a point where you stop and you realize, like, wait, what's this game all about? And I put this on coaches. I don't really put this on players because players are gonna, a lot of coaches and a lot of parents say, well, players nowadays. What about players nowadays? Well, oh, right. It's not easy for you to coach them. You can't show up every day and inspire them and educate them and build relationships, right? You don't have your teaching methods. You don't know how to explain in three, four points. You don't know how to show them. You don't know how to have players ready to jump on the next drill. You don't know how to intervene in a drill. You don't know how to coach on the fly. So you want the players to already be able to do all this. So I blame the coaches, right? What kind of aggressive mindset do you have? Are you teaching your players like the daily choice? It's a daily choice. You show up. Well, if you show up, then it's be tough. If you show up, then toughness is a habit. Where's your aggression as a coach, Staska? Right? Like, how do you define aggression? Well, what is your aggression? Are you yelling at your players? Or do your players know that certain movements, like, and I'm talking from my experience, I don't need to do anything. You've seen me in the gym. I rarely have to get up here because players just know me. And my girls will know if they can just tell by the way I look. And then they'll be like, listen, he's not happy. Let's pick it up. Right?
Yeah.
So where are you as a coach when it comes to that? And where are you in motivating these players? Like, where are you? Are you building their confidence? Are you able to help them build and maintain their confidence? How are you preparing them? Are you giving positive reinforcement? Are you giving them, me and you can talk about visualization all we want. Are you helping them set goals? Are you teaching them to read books? Are you giving them information that helps them grow, right? What are you doing? Are you motivating them externally, internally? Are you giving them, is playing time the reward? Well, man, you can't quit your job. You're not a good coach if that's the reward, right? You got to teach them how to have that internal drive. You got to teach them about the relationships. And you sit down with my players and we had an exit interview and they loved that we won. But you know what they loved the most? How close they are all together, how much they learned from each other. Every single player said, we learned that setting goals and holding ourselves accountable every single day works. Think about that. That's the lesson. After 8 months of sweating, grinding, getting at each other, winning the first championship in 34 years for our school out of 17 teams, finishing fifth in the country in our third season, the biggest takeaway is they learned that setting goals, working together, being around each other, loving each other works. Well, guess what, man? I did my job. I'm teaching players how to win on the court and at life.
Yes.
And to me, it doesn't get better than that.
That's what I wrote, that you taught them how to win in life through basketball. So this is, listen, it's amazing what you are sharing. I know that if somebody will take half of what you said, they will definitely win in life. That is the ultimate goal for a coach. For a coach, and of course they will, regardless of what they will achieve in basketball, they will still be a winner regardless of anything. But let's leave this for the next time we call, and let's finish with a few short questions, and you can answer as short or as long as you wish. Okay?
Sure.
So let's
Sure.
start. Let's
Hit me.
start with one that is a little bit more deeper. So, what comes to your mind when I ask, "Who is Mihai Raducanu?"
Simple. An educator an inspiration, somebody that helps people find out who they are, somebody that helps people figure out who they are, and be able to be applying that and be successful in the things that they want to do. That's who I am. I'll help you figure out who you are with the truth.
You see, and that is your, let's call it simpler terms, your basketball coach. But what you mentioned is different. That's I was expecting this. That's why I asked. Let's go to the next one. Is there anything you wish that young players would stop doing?
Self-sabotaging.
In their head, you mean?
Yeah, I think it's underestimating or overestimating those skills and talent, having low levels of confidence, and they get caught up in the gram game, the social media game, and that's how they self-sabotage by underestimating, overestimating, not knowing how much work they need to put in, and then everything that they allow into their life to that affects their ability to grow. It's easier to go buy a McDonald's burger. It's harder to go home and go grocery shopping and have food for the week, right? You're self-sabotaging because it's hard, because you're spending 4 hours of screen time on Instagram instead of going grocery shopping.
That's again another one. You nailed it. What is the quality then that you value the most in a player?
Truth, their ability to tell the truth. That's to me, that's number one. Just tell the truth, because when you tell the truth, we can help you. When you don't tell the truth, I can't help you. Be able to tell the truth. And I'm going to quickly say this. Gannon Baker, I helped him get a global patent on the saying. I think me and you talked about this. Maybe last time I saw you live, this was a process, but we got a global patent on truth fears no question. We were able to patent this. Nobody else can use it. Gannon Baker and myself. Truth fears no question. Simple. If you operate from a truth, if you operate from a place of wanting to grow, if you operate from a place that every single day you're pouring into yourself and you're finding ways to be better and you're finding ways to continuously strive towards what you're striving towards, then nobody can question it. If you're not operating from those principles and you talk about who you want to be and you talk about who you want to become, but you're not doing much about it, your truth will always fear. You will always fear questions, And I'm going to be completely honest with you. You sent me some questions yesterday. I didn't read one of them because I was like, I don't have anything to hide. I didn't read them, Staska. I'm sorry, man. I don't even know if you asked them tonight, but I'm like, I don't, it doesn't matter to me because what I am is who I am and my truth fears no question. So Staska can ask me whatever he wants. I'll give him my truth. That's it.
I said it before we recorded that I don't know if you saw it, so now I know. But yes, exactly. Like truth, you don't need to kind of remember what you have said, or like if somebody would say you don't have to remember twice, because if you lied something, you need to remember what you kind of lied. So yeah, but as I said, let's don't go too deep because we just continue talking. And last question.
Sorry, can I add
Yeah,
another
of
thing?
course, of
Can I
course.
add one more? Communication. Being able to have great communication skills. And, my daughter's turning 16. She plays volleyball. You've trained her. Thank you
Yes.
for all the work. And then my son is 14, playing football, American football. He's the quarterback. And, communication is something that I put in their heads since they were able to process it. My players, I have a rookie that's coming in. Her communication skills and ability to talk to me and talk to everybody else is through the roof. It's probably the best I've seen for a young player coming in, right? And that's the type of players that you want. Be able to tell the truth and be able to communicate. Because when you tell the truth and you can communicate, guess what? I can help you so much. And if I can't help you, I can find somebody that can. But when the truth is not all there, when you can't really communicate what you're feeling, the help you get is going to be shitty because you don't get the full help.
Yeah. So for the last question, maybe the answer will be the same. So what is the piece of advice you give to your athletes most often?
Well, it varies. Are you talking about in terms of human, in terms of basketball, in terms of life choices? Because
You
listen,
choose what you want
these
to finish with.
yeah, the biggest piece that constantly comes up is how do I manage my time? How do I eat healthier? How do I find time to get in the gym? How do I talk to negative people? How do I'm dealing with this? A lot of it is mental. A lot of it is them not being developed enough by their middle schools, by their high schools, by their parents, by their previous coaches. They haven't been developed enough to have the mental ability to navigate. And I think, to encompass it all into one question, that the thing that I deal with the most is helping my players navigate life. And I'll tell you a story. It's a cool story. I had a player that played for me my first 2 years. Good player, um, good girl. Got to know her a lot. Last summer, so a year ago, she wanted to do weekly Mihai mental sessions. So weekly, we would meet for an hour and we would just we'd get into life and we get into navigating life and we get into finding yourself. Um, I helped her find herself. I helped her find who she was. I helped her find what she stood for. I helped her find ways to navigate life situations. But you know what happens, Daska? Through all that, the decision and everything led to her having to quit the team because I helped her figure out what's important to her. I helped her, and she was a starter for me. She was starting for me. I helped her figure out what is her priority at that moment in time. I helped her figure out what she needs to work on as an individual. And she quit. And she thanked me for it. It doesn't feel good, man, as a basketball coach to lose a starter a week before the season starts. But I helped the human.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 months later, we sit down and she said, "You saved my life. You saved my life." Guess what? She's back. She's back for this year. She needed that year. She needed the year to figure herself out. And that's why we do what we do. And a lot of these kids, most kids, and I'm not even going to talk about adults because adults, you're responsible for your own development,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know who they are. So then when they show up and they don't know who they are, it's hard to operate because you don't know who you like to hang out with because you don't know what you stand for. You don't know what kind of foods to eat because you've never understood what makes you feel good. You just do what somebody says. Oh, do keto, do vegan, do this, do eat steak. But you don't really know what works for you, right? And when they don't know that, life is very confusing. Life is there's information coming at you from all over the place, and everybody has an opinion, and most opinions are, you know what they are, right?
Yes.
So it's confusing for them. So what do I deal with on a daily basis? Rarely basketball. It's this. It's helping them figure out who they are. It's helping them navigate life and always direct it back to who they are. We do an exercise as a team at the beginning of the season, and it's how do you like to receive it and how do you like to give it? And you would be surprised how much that helps the girls because then they'll know Staska gives us straight. There's no cushion. It's just facts. Mihai can massage it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, wait, Staska gives it straight, but he hates getting it straight. Staska needs a hug and he needs a whisper.
Mm-hmm.
I have one player that she says to me, I need you to yell at me because I cruise. But Staska, this is a double machine. This is a first team all conference player. She averages like 14 and 14. She's a beast. But she tells me all the time, you need to yell at me. So my assistant during the game, he'd be like, hey, her name's Kendra. Hey, Kenny needs you to yell at her, right? So I have to manufacture it. But she loves it because she needs it. So I'll be like, Kenny, what the fuck are you doing? Let's go. Let's stop messing around. And then she just flips the switch. But it's, right? Like, you have to understand your players, but before you can understand them, they got to understand themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And when that happens, and that's what I deal with, that's the majority of my conversations.
Whew. It's I got so much better. So many takeaways because usually I summarize everything in 3 key takeaways. I'm not able to do it right now. Like fundamentals.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Fundamentals, first work on those basics. Holistic development. Why behind things that you do. Basketball is just a kind of mean for you to succeed in life. You will succeed in basketball too, but basketball is just part of that winning life. Self-awareness, all of these things. Like I'm not even trying to summarize it. It's impossible. Everything is. I'm really happy that you forced yourself into this podcast. Thank you, Mihai, very much for joining us and sharing this experience and your passion. Everyone can see as I started the introduction, the holistic approach. It's amazing. It's rare. But if somebody wants to follow up with your work or maybe learn about the camps, maybe they would like to attend sometime, what would be the best way to keep up with all the information and connect with you?
Yeah, and Instagram is it's a good way to find me. That's a good starting spot. Just find me on Instagram, send me a message, and then we can talk about things that we do. My focus right now here in Canada is women's basketball, right? Because that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. I want to continue to build a dynasty. I want to continue to build a legacy, help these girls leave their mark on this college, and that's where I'm at. So here I focus on women basketball development. We have a high school academy that I'm doing. When I come to Europe, I'll be in Sweden in a month. That's developing the greater population, helping people see things from a different way. And then helping people build their businesses. Sports businesses is a huge thing that I do, and Instagram, that's the greatest starting spot, and then we go from there.
Perfect. For everyone else, thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode. That is the best way to support us. But for now, keep training basketball, body, and mind.